ये माइक्रोवैन टेक्नोलॉजी से बना एंटी बैक्टीरियल पैड जो बैक्टीरिया पैदा होने नहीं देगा। खूबसूरत है।
आकाश जी,
गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड इवनिंग सर।
गुड आफ्टरनून।
गुड
आपको वो एयरवा वाले पेपर्स मिल गए अभी नहीं मिले?
नहीं सर, वो महेश जी के पास है जम्मू,
हाँ हाँ।
और हम ही दोनों के सिग्नेचर बाकी है, तो वो नहीं कर पा रहे हैं बिकॉज कुरियर नहीं कर पा रहे, बिकॉज सब थोड़ा माहौल नहीं है ओपन। मेरी बात हुई थी उनसे 3-4 दिन पहले ही, तो वो बस मुझे भेजेंगे, उसके बाद मैं सिग्नेचर करके आपको भेज दूंगा।
तो मतलब कि अगर कोरियर नहीं कर पा रहे तो क्या करें?
सॉरी सर।
अगर कोरियर नहीं कर पा रहे तो क्या करें, क्या रास्ता है?
मेरे हिसाब से थोड़ा वेट करना ही रास्ता है अभी तो, अगर वो उनके उधर सिचुएशन है कि वो नहीं निकल पा रहे।
हाँ, एक रास्ता और है कि उनका ना एड्रेस चेक करके और किसी कोरियर एजेंसी को बोला जाए।
ओके, कलेक्ट करने के लिए।
हाँ, कोरियर एजेंसी अगर वहाँ से कलेक्ट कर लेगी ना तो बात बन जाएगी।
तो आपकी आवाज़ बहुत वॉल्यूम बहुत स्लो है, तो थोड़ा।
मैं स्लो बोल रहा था इसलिए स्लो आ रहा होगा।
अच्छा तब ठीक है।
स्लो बोलने की वजह से स्लो आ रहा होगा।
ओके
क्योंकि
ओके।
क्या है कि ये रुस्तगी साहब अनम्यूट कर लो सर, तो उससे क्या होगा कि अभी ऐसे में ना अभी फुर्सत भी है, ऐसे में बैंक अकाउंट का प्रोसेस ऑन हो जाएगा तो सही रहेगा।
मैं चलिए एक बार उनसे आज शाम को वापस बात कर लेता हूँ। मेरी बात हुई थी अभी 5-6 दिन पहले ही हुई थी।
पर दोबारा से कोऑर्डिनेट करना,
मैं एक बार आज वापस शाम को पूछ लेता हूँ कि क्या पोजीशन है।
उससे अच्छा हो जाएगा।
So can you hear me?
Yes, Rustagi Saab, yes, your voice is clear and it is audible. तो अभी आपने क्या ट्रीटमेंट लिया आकाश जी?
सॉरी सर।
क्या ट्रीटमेंट लिया आपने?
एक्चुअली मुझे नहीं था सर, मेरे को तो
हाँ।
घर पे वाइफ को और मम्मी पापा को था, सबको था।
अच्छा,
तो ट्रीटमेंट में तो जो नॉर्मल एलोपैथी में जो है, एक अच्छे डॉक्टर है पहचान में, इन्फेक्शन डिजीज के स्पेशलिस्ट है सूरत में।
ओके।
जैसा जैसा वो बोलते गए वो करते गए।
ग्रेट। Last month we missed you.
The feeling is same, yeah.
Mustaki Saab, you are having office in Delhi and Bombay both?
No, Delhi only.
Okay, Delhi only.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are live on Facebook now.
Yes.
Yes.
Akash ji?
Sir, shall we start?
Yes, yes.
Okay. ठीक है. Welcome. Good evening, all of you. Uh, I welcome you all. I hope all are doing well. All the family members and everything is going fair enough. I know it. This is a very hard and tough time for all the people in the country. So today we are here to have a discussion on SEBI LODR regulations 2015 and in its relation with the registered valuer. So as usual, we have our key host without whom the session is next to impossible, Dr. Ajay Garg ji. As we all know him very well, Dr. Ajay Garg ji, but then too as a good gesture, I need to introduce him. Ajay Garg ji is a diversified professional. He's a speaker, he's a technical author, writer, social entrepreneur, and he's having experience for more than 35 years in his professional field. He's having lots and lots of degree in his basket, including masters in economics, masters in commerce, masters in management, and is also a fellow member of ICSI. He is registered valuer along with an IP. He is very active in all the spheres of the life, including the social, the spiritual, and everything. He has been regular speaker at various platforms like ICI, ICSI, and various others. He has also served as a board member in Corporation Bank for 3 years, and his social initiative Aa Vyapar Kar Le is very popular among youths in NCR region. With this, I welcome you, Ajay Garg ji.
Thank you, Akashi.
Uh,
Kindly introduce the
yes,
speaker of the day.
our main speaker for today's session is Anil Rastogi ji. He is from New Delhi. He is a science graduate from University in Delhi, a law graduate, again from University in Delhi, uh, FCS, a fellow member of CS from ICSI, and IP, and a registered valuer. So he is very diverse. He is having diversified personality with us. He has done his science, law, CS, valuation, everything. He has served well-known Indian and global corporates like Honda, Maruti, Skinder, Uninor, Escorts, SS Kothari, and various others at very senior position. He has more than 35 years of experience in various verticals like litigation and corporate work, merger and acquisitions, joint ventures, also having all aspects of company secretarial work, corporate governance, statutory compliance as per the SEBI, Companies Act, and other corporate laws. He is also an intellectual property rights matter. He also deals into IP matters, public issues and right issues, regularly handles internal audit, and has set up greenfield projects and administration functions. So with this, I welcome Anil Rustagi. Welcome to the board, sir.
Thank you, Akash, for nice introduction.
Uh, our second speaker for today's session, as he is again a person who is uh, regular speaker on our platform, Munesh Purbeji.
Thank
Again, he
you.
is a member of ICSI. So today we all the key host and the co-speaker and the second speaker all are the members of ICSI. So, Manoj Purbeji is also having a degree in law. He is also an IP. He is also having more than 18 years of experience in matters related to listed company, capital restructuring, financial services, and everything, and each and everything related to corporate management. He is appearing before different benches of NCLT and is also handling foreign direct investments under FEMA matters. Presently, he is serving as director in Intelsity Capital Advisory Private Limited, which is a merchant category 1 merchant banker. So with this, I welcome Purbeji. I hope he is available.
He is likely to join little later
Okay.
as he has just recovered from corona this week
Mhm.
only.
Yes,
He
as
may or his colleague may join.
okay. Sir, your voice is, you need to increase
Yeah,
your voice
perfect.
a little.
Either he will join or his colleague will join.
Sorry, you're not
Is it?
audible, sir, clearly.
Either he will join or his colleague will join.
Okay, okay,
One
okay,
of
sir.
the two. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Akashi,
Yes, sir.
you can go to you can go for sharing of the PPT.
Yes, yes. In a moment.
अब वो पेज को इसमें था नहीं ना
Yes. Next slide. Yes. Before this was one of the Game Changer Act in 1982. And this was game changer because for the first time the substantive law was very flexible and gave extensive powers for delegated legislation, because market demands are like that interventions are required at very high speed, and these interventions are not possible with the interventions through the legislative. That was the reason that delegated legislation was strong. Therefore, whenever you will talk about SEBI, rather than going through the act, we go through the various regulations. And these regulations are day in and day out as per the need of the market, are changed by the bureaucrats, by the officers who are at the table with the help of the SEBI board. And after the board approval, this takes the shape of the law, and this is required for regulation of the market. And then this is basically the American trend of writing the laws. And later on, we saw many acts in India where the delegated legislation was given flexibility to adopt as per the needs of the market. Anyway, we will talk about this later on. This is time to listen to Mr. Anil Rustagi about the topic, because LODR regulations, each valuer understands that LODR regulations are important, and these relate to listing obligations and disclosure requirements for the listed companies in India. Over to Anil Rustagi ji to take us to the today's topic.
So next slide, please.
Yes.
At the outset, I am thankful to Dr. Ajay Garg for providing me an opportunity to interact with my professional colleagues. And I hope all the participants and their family members are safe at their home or maybe recovering. So I wish them speedy recovery. Coming back to the topic. So first regulation, SEBI has issued number of regulations. First of all, we'll discuss the SEBI appointment of administrator and procedure for refunding to investors regulations 2018. You would notice that though this regulation is 2018, but changes has been done in all the regulations wherever this concept of registered valuer is there, either in definition or engagement or role or responsibility or issue of report after the Parent Act Companies Valuation Rules 2017 has come into the force. And most of the things are linked with that and section 247 of the Companies Act. So first regulation 21P, definition. So definition is, are you showing the link? So definition is again linked with the section 247 of the Companies Act. Fortunately, in all the SEBI regulations, wherever registered valuer is there, so it is linked with section 247 of the Companies Act. Next regulation is 72B. So this is engagement by administrator. As you know, under this regulations, administrator runs the show and registered valuer is appointed by administrator to give his report. Practically, we know when this administrator is appointed, there is hardly anything left in the company in terms of assets, land and building, plant and machinery, or financial assets. But still, the valuer has to do his job, issue the report based upon the data available with him. And as per regulation 812, you would notice that administrator can sell the properties only after getting this valuation report from the registered valuer. Next slide, please. Another regulation we are going to discuss is SEBI Infrastructure Investment Trust Regulations 2014. Again, the definition under section regulation 2 ZZF, same linked with section 247 of the Companies Act. Regulation 131A 2O talks about the rights and responsibilities of the valuer. So here, somehow we can link it with the parent regulation, companies valuation rules 2017, where under schedule 1, the code of conduct is there. So at most of the places, wherever code of conduct is there, those relevant provisions are applicable, in whether in the form of rights or responsibilities of the valuer. Another regulation 21(1) to 12. There are 3 headings in this. So rotation of valuer, frequency, and other miscellaneous provision. When we talk about the rotation, so under this regulation 21, he can be appointed maximum period of 4 years at a time, and then there is a cooling period of 2 years. That means if he's there for last 4 years, then up to 31st December 2020, from January 21 to December 22, he cannot be there, and he can come again in that role in 23. Frequency, the valuer has to issue the report once in a year and then half-yearly basis. And the timelines are also there, that within which time he has to issue the report, 45 days or 60 days, or in annual basis, 1 month or 1.5 months. Then schedule 5 talks about the mandatory minimum disclosure. As a students, we have seen what all should be there in our valuation report. That means name of the valuer, other particulars of the valuer, the approach taken by the valuer, why he has taken that approach, then method he has taken, why he has taken that method, and other minimum disclosure which we have studied as a student of before clearing the exam. So all that is there in schedule 5. Next slide, please. If you see, same definition of valuer linked with section 247 and regulation 12(1)(a) to O, rights and responsibilities of the valuer, are almost same as we discussed in the previous slide. And regulation 21 to 12, same provisions are there with little bit changes in this regulation. Similarly, for schedule 5, mandatory minimum disclosure are almost same under this regulation 2014. As I mentioned earlier, so all these changes in these regulations, have been done after 2017, though this regulation is 2014. Next slide, please. Now we'll talk about the SEBI ICDR regulations. So there is a consistency from the SEBI side that wherever valuer is talked about, so they have linked it with section 247 of the Companies Act. As we read the valuation definition, means a person who is registered under section 247 of the Companies Act and the relevant rules framed thereunder or as specified by the board. Board here means SEBI, not the board of directors. Regulation 158(6)(b) talks about the preferential issue of lenders under RBI guidelines. So valuation by 2 independent valuers. If we just compare this regulation with IBC regulations, there also for the valuation purpose, 2 independent valuers are required. Here also, whenever there is a conversion or preferential issue to lenders due to loan conversion given by the bank or financial institutions, so this regulations comes into the play, and the valuation is to be done by 2 independent valuers. Continuing with the regulation 159(1)(b), in case of inter-se transfer, among as promoters or invocation of pledge, issue price is to be certified by 2 independent valuers. as I said, there are two independent valuers required under regulation 159. Next slide, please. Continuing with SEBI ICDR regulations. So regulation 163(3) provides for issuance of specified securities for consideration other than cash. Other than cash means when the promoters or other parties are bringing in land, building, plant and machinery, or IPR, etc. In that case, when the valuation is to be done by independent valuer, and based upon this, his report, the issuance of securities will be done. Continuing with the regulation 163(3), if stock exchange is not satisfied with valuation of independent valuer under this regulation, then stock exchange has every right to get it done, this valuation again, by another independent valuer who will issue the report, and then SEBI will take the, stock exchange will take the necessary action. Another regulation 165, where we have an opportunity to issue the report as independent valuer, is for pricing of infrequently traded shares. Next slide, please. Now, to some extent, here is the first game changer that so far, before this circular dated 10th March 2017, the reports were being issued either by the chartered accountant or by merchant banker, or company were making their own arrangement based upon the regulations, relevant regulations. So this regulation authorized independent chartered accountant to issue the valuation report. So to some extent, this is the first game changer by March 2017 circular in LODR regulations. Next slide, please.
Akashji, let us go through that 10th March 2017 circular here, because see this before this, what we used to do in the mergers and demergers, that we never asked for no objection certificate from stock exchanges or SEBI, even in case of listed company, and we were straight away going to the High Court, and then we were getting it done with the disclosure. With the circular 10th March 2017, the extensive guidelines were issued under SEBI Loader, and under these guidelines, it was provided that before moving to the High Court or before moving to NCLT, now inserted, is that one has to take the no objection certificate from the stock exchange. So let us go through some basics of this 10th March circular 2017, so that it becomes easy for the youngsters to understand what is there in this circular March 10, 2017, and why it is being quoted over here. Yes, Akashji, over to you.
Yeah, so first page, yeah, correct. So first para, second para, please come to second para. So second para talks about this regulation 11. Yeah, second para. Regulation 11 of the listing regulations inter alia provides that any scheme of arrangement, merger, amalgamation, reconstruction, reduction of capital to be presented to any court or tribunal does not in any way violate, override, or limit. So it was a very general provision under regulation 11. Then this another regulation relevant in this case is 37. So regulation 37 of the listing regulations provides that the listing entities desirous of.
Akashji, kindly stay over there. Yes.
Yeah. So regulation 37 of the listing regulations provides that the listed entities desirous of undertaking scheme of arrangement, etc., or involved in a scheme of arrangement shall file the draft scheme with the stock exchange for obtaining either observation letter or no objection letter. That is the discretion of the stock exchange whether to issue the NOC, no objection letter, or observation letter. Before filing such a scheme with any court here at that point of time was High Court, and tribunal here means NCLT. Another linked regulation is Regulation 94 in this case. So Regulation 94 of the listing regulations requires stock exchanges to forward such draft schemes to SEBI in the manner prescribed by SEBI. That means the process to be followed by the company, that along with the scheme, they have to issue this valuation report to the stock exchange. Then stock exchange will go through both the items, scheme as well as the valuation report, and in turn, then they will submit it to the SEBI. And after getting the
Akashi, go down and go for the next box, which is there, yellow box. Yes, this is where this valuation report was also required to be submitted at the time of taking NOC. Kindly click on this box. Yes, valuation report is required for all such scheme of arrangements to be submitted to the stock exchange. Yes, Anil sir, kindly continue. Next
So
box.
what I was saying, so along with the scheme, the applicant company has to submit the valuation report also to the stock exchange, and to get either no objection certificate or letter, and in turn they have to give it to stock exchange, and after getting it back from the stock exchange, then they will give it to company, and then the company will submit scheme and this letter or no objection letter to NCLT for approval of their scheme.
Kindly go down further to find out the next box. Oh, yes. This was the circular where in 10th March 2017, the onus was given at that time to the independent chartered accountants.
Yeah.
Now this stands replaced with registered one.
Correct. By 2027.
Yes. Akash, next box in this file. Kindly go down, find out the next box. Now see, Akash, if you remember, you were asking around 10 days or fortnight back that in case of demerger. So here is the thing which says that if it is mirror shareholding, there is no change in shareholding pattern, then the color of the valuation report, the name of the valuation report changes to share entitlement report. That is the reason. Go down, further go down, find out if there is any other box. No other box. So then you can close this and can move back to the PPT. You may close this file and you may move back to the PPT. 10th March 2017. This was a changer where it was specified for the first time that where from and what are all documents required to be submitted. And it was mentioned over there at that time. Yes, kindly go to the next slide. Anil sir, over to you.
Yeah. So here is the real game changer, where this independent chartered accountant has been replaced by the registered valuer. So para 4A of circular.
And it happened on 3rd November 2020. We were just looking for someone as seasoned as Anil Rustagi to cover it. And kindly go for this, Akashi, kindly go for this circular, which is 3rd November 2020. Yes. And find out the yellow boxes here. Click on first yellow box. Through this circular concept of NOC, this was related to 10th March 2017. It is mentioned that this add-on circular is there to make changes in the circular which was issued on March 10th, 2017. Yes, next yellow box. Applicability of the circular. All schemes with effect from November 17, 2020. Yes. And this is related to Regulation 11, Regulation 37, Regulation 94, and Regulation 101 point sub-regulation 2. As Anilji were just now mentioning, Regulation 11, 37, and 94. 11 talks about what all schemes are there. We will go through this SEBI loader regulation also. In particularly, we will go through Regulation 11, 37, 94, 101, so that young valuer can understand where from this has been drawn. Yes, next box, if there is any. Akashji, yes. This is here, take note of placement of valuation report in audit committee. Now see, this circular on circular says that now onward this valuation report first of all shall be placed in audit committee. After audit committee, this needs to be ratified by board of directors, and then this will be submitted to the stock exchange for their comment. And stock exchange, while issuing NOC, will forward that NOC to SEBI. And SEBI, if SEBI has any observation, then the observation letter or NOC will be issued to the company back, and then only company can file with the NCLT. So this is the procedure which we are following as a corporate council. Only change is that now onward this valuation report is required to be done by the registered valuer, which is in relation to us. Anyway, kindly Akashji, kindly go for the next yellow box. Now see, here it is mentioned that para 4A of the circular shall be replaced with the following. All listed entities are required to submit a valuation report from a registered valuer. Yes. Akashji, next box, if any.
Sir, it's done. All the highlighted marks are covered.
Fine, fine. Then again go back to the presentation. Because we will be having the question answers also. Yes.
So here I would like to mention that for this change of 3rd November 2020, AIRB has placed a key role. They have followed up.
We take little credit because not many people were following. So we take only little credit. This was not that only we were following. Many other organizations, RVOs and others were following, and we are continuously following. But yes, we also made our efforts in this direction. And this has encouraged us to take it to other levels also. And we will be doing it. We are doing it. Yes.
So combined effect has yielded the desired result.
Yes.
With change in a way.
Yes.
So next slide, please.
Let us understand the fruits of the change now. Yes.
So as we just discussed, so all the valuation reports in reference to scheme of arrangement, merger, demerger, amalgamation, compromise, arrangement, before submitting it to NCLT now, earlier High Court, needs valuation report from the registered valuers only. So all the actions under Companies Act and IBC, all the reports can be issued only by the registered valuer, registered with IBBI. Next slide. And as we just saw, all this is contained in Regulation 11 of the SEBI LODR, which provides for scheme of arrangement, merger, amalgamation, reconstruction. This 101 refers to capital reduction.
So let us now go to this SEBI loader regulation and see what all is this Regulation 11, 37, 94, etc., etc. Akashji, kindly go for yellow boxes here in this regulation. Yeah. Then first thing to remember is that as far as loader regulation is concerned, the definition is not there, and this was not there even for the independent chartered accountant. This was not there, and still in SEBI regulation, SEBI loader regulation, though in other regulations the definition of valuer has been inserted, but here it is not yet inserted. Akashji, go for the next. Yes. Scheme of arrangement. This is section 11. Now see what this section 11 says. This says that listed entity, and this is the genesis for the circular 10th March, as well as this is genesis for the circular 3rd November 2020, about which we are talking right now. And see, this talks about scheme of arrangement, this talks about scheme of amalgamation, this talks about scheme of merger, this talks about scheme of reconstruction, this talks about reduction of capital. As far as SEBI regulation is concerned, this regulation 11 of SEBI loader regulation talks about these 5 aspects. And here you need to remember that this reduction of capital is followed by etc. Means any such thing, any such corporate action, and if valuation report is required, then this valuation report will be issued now onward by none other than the registered valuer. Next one, Akashji. You will find few or more boxes. Yeah, this is regulation 37. This 37 regulation talks about no objection letter or observation letter to be issued by stock exchange prior to submission of such scheme with any court or any other tribunal. For example, competition CCI, competition tribunal, which used to be earlier separate from CLB, now it has been merged with NCLT. Then earlier that was the situation, but now because the competition tribunal has also merged with NCLT and all powers have been now transferred here, so therefore it is like this. Now go for next yellow box. little above, थोड़ा और ऊपर करो इसे, आकाश जी. Now click on yellow box. So now see, sometimes there is a question by young valuers that in case of merger of wholly owned subsidiary, why valuation report is not required. So this is here, this is mentioned here that nothing contained in this regulation shall apply to draft schemes which solely provide for merger of WS. Because in case of merger of WS, no additional shares are issued. There is no change in the shareholding. That is the reason why valuation report is not required. Yes, go for next. This is regulation 94. This talks about draft scheme of arrangement and scheme of arrangement where the swap ratio, share exchange ratio is one of the essential ingredients. And this swap ratio is dependent upon the valuation report, where valuation report swap ratio is basically the part of the valuation report, and then it creeps into a scheme of arrangement. Because it creeps into a scheme of arrangement, and this 94 regulation takes care of it. Next one. Now see 101. 101 has given powers to the board, because we have seen that as far as SEBI regulations are concerned, this LODR circular is very unique, because in case of all other regulations, you will not find any additional circular. Whenever changes are there, these changes are inserted into the regulation. But this circular, which is issued in reference to SEBI loader, is separate because of this particular section 101, where board means SEBI is empowered to issue clarifications through guidance notes or circular after recording reasons in writing. And when this 10th March 2017 circular was issued, so this was taken care of there. Yes, Akashji. Okay, fine. And this is earlier reference. Next one.
So it's done. All the highlighted.
Okay, fine. Then come back to the presentation. Anil sir, there are some small questions. One question is asked by Mr. Shantanu Kumar Das.
Yeah.
And Mr. S.K. Das is company secretary with Union Bank of India. He is general manager at present. And
Okay.
he asked what is the correlation between registered valuer and independent valuer. So would you like to reply, or I shall reply?
No, You can carry on. Yeah.
Okay.
If there is anything, I'll.
Registered valuer and independent valuer. This is very intelligent question, Shantanu. Congratulations for asking such a brilliant question, which is there in the every mind. See, registered valuer is the concept which is taken in the law, and company law has designated this profession as registered valuer. But when we talk about independent valuer, it takes registered valuer to the next level. And this independent valuer means, suppose someone is registered valuer, but he may be the auditor of the company. If he is auditor of the company, can he be considered as independent valuer? Answer is no, because it is clearly mentioned in Companies Act 2013 that independence has been defined and valuer needs to be independent. That means any registered valuer can do the valuation, but he should be independent to the company, to the management of the company. That is there. And if Anil sir, if you want to add something, kindly add.
No, perfectly
Okay.
replied. Yeah. So yeah, this concept of registered valuer has come to the force in 2017. While generally we say independent, it can be any professional, whether chartered accountant or company secretary or cost accountant. So when he has no conflict of interest, that is the meaning legislature want to make a distinction between independent and not independent. That means he has some kind of relationship with the person who is asking to do certain jobs. In the same context, can this audit report,
Yes.
the Companies Act,
Kindly go for the next slide.
yeah,
Yes. Now, what is the after effect of this 3rd November 2020 circular?
so we'll see this valuation of infrequently traded shares, valuation of frequently traded shares, and valuation of listed entities. All this is possible after this November 2020 circular. Now we have also mentioned valuation of unlisted entity. A question may arise that we are talking about SEBI LODR regulations, that is all the listed provisions applicable to listed entity. Then how come this unlisted entity, this provision is mentioned here? So if you see in 2017, when this parent legislation came, so under IBC and under Companies Act, now the reports can be issued only by the registered valuer. So under SEBI LODR regulations, registered valuer is there defined in the respective regulations, but this requirement of registered valuer, either report or certificate for unlisted entity is coming from IBC, whether the company is listed or unlisted, or under Companies Act, whether it's a listed or unlisted. This is what I want to convey here. Ajay, you may like to add something?
Yes, because see, the whole spectrum is now complete with this 3rd November circular. Earlier, what was there, that infrequently traded shares were being valued by the registered valuer, frequently traded were being valued by the independent chartered accountant. Same was there in case of unlisted and listed. Unlisted entities, for the purpose of any arrangement scheme, registered valuers were doing it, but in case of listed entity, this was being done by the independent chartered accountants. That anomaly now stands corrected, and this is one step ahead for the registered valuers now. One more ladder, and later on there are other factors also. We will see to these factors as well. Yes, Akashji.
So another opportunity for the registered valuer is empanelment of registered valuer with the stock exchanges. Except one SEBI regulations, so far there is no provision for empanelment of registered valuer. So in the time to come, stock exchange may ask for the empanelment of registered valuer. So this will be another avenue for we professionals.
Yeah, Regulation 37 says that if stock exchange is not comfortable with the valuation which has been given by the company, then stock exchange is empowered to get it valued by another valuer. Now that another valuer also has to be the registered valuer, Akashi, understanding now?
Yes, sir.
That means that there is an opportunity that to forward your papers to the stock exchange for random empanelment without being asked by them, because in earlier cases also SEBI has appointed the valuers wherever there was some dispute or wherever valuation was not acceptable to the stock exchange. Yes, next one, Anil sir.
So though so many avenues are there for we as a professionals, but it comes with lot of challenges and lot of new learning. So there has to be a capacity building and continuous learning. So where do we get this source of information is
ये आकाश जी इसको जरा हटाना है यहाँ पर ये बटन जी.
सॉरी सर, आपकी आवाज नहीं है.
Yes, Anil sir.
yeah. So we have seen in number of regulations issued by the SEBI, they have incorporated this concept of registered valuer and many more to come. Then another source for we to learn is valuation reports. Earlier, very few valuation reports were in the public domain. But in the last 4 years, you can say number of valuation reports, various kinds of valuation reports are available. So we have to go through it and update ourselves. Another source of information and learning is recent stands of courts and various tribunals, Supreme Court, High Court, NCLT for valuation report. In number of cases, Supreme Court, High Court and NCLT has commented on these valuation reports. So all these are source of learning for us. Circulars, yes, we have seen number of them so far and many more to come. So there has to be a continuous learning. Now, another point that contact or connect with few merchant bankers. In the last few minutes, we have seen so far the reports, the valuation reports were issued either by the chartered accountant or by merchant banker or by the company in association with the company. So now when the this avenue is open for we as a professionals, so we need to connect with the merchant banker. Now, whether the government or SEBI or other economics legislation, we will be there along with merchant banker or chartered accountant or only merchant registered valuer. It's a question of time.
Akash ji, move to the next slide. Yeah.
Yeah. So continuing with this learning, so lot of data is available in the public domain at stock exchanges. Here, I would request Dr. Ajay Garg to explain the concept mentioned here.
Yeah, see, this new learning period, one of the learning required in case of listed company maybe the need to retrieve the old public data from stock exchange. Now, here is the time where we will see how the historical data can be taken from the stock exchange. Akash ji, can we go for this Bombay Stock Exchange India, bseindia.com site first?
Sorry, sir, your voice is not very audible.
Akash ji, can we go for the bseindia.com first?
Just a moment.
The portal of BSE India, because many young valuers want to understand how they can go for the historical data of the traded companies, frequently traded companies. If Monica, okay, yes. Akash ji, in case of any challenge, then we can ask the Monica to go for this.
Just a moment, sir. Is it visible?
Yes. Now type here get code, type here the name of any company. Say this is okay. This is Adani Port. Yes. Now here you will see that after this Adani Port, the rate is mentioned 768. And now come to this side. Here, archives. This is named as archives. Kindly click on this archive. When you click on this archives and when you go for this, then you will find that daily, monthly, and yearly. Now, whatever data you want, you will get that data over here. If you want daily data, mention the date and from which date to which date, because sometimes you have to calculate volume weighted average or something like that. So then you can take the data from here. Bombay Stock Exchange India, BSE India. If company is listed on BSE India, you can take data from here. If you need the data in case of infrequently traded company, you may have to go for yearly data. So that option is also there. Akashi, kindly click on this monthly data. Let us see what is there mentioned. And now mention here the month, any month which you like. January, fine. And year, go for some other year. Yes. 2017. Now let us see, submit. The button submit is there, whether it provides the information or not. Yes. Now see, this data of January 17 is there with you. Open, high, low, close, number of shares, number of traded, number of trades, total turnover, deliverable quantity, percent of deliverable quantity to traded quantity. So that way you get all the relevant data, the data which you require to arrive at the valuation. And in certain situations, you will require the daily bhag copy. And that daily bhag copy, Akashji, kindly go back. Yes, daily. And now this daily, let us go for this daily from February 2021 first and up to 6 weeks. 6 weeks means go for March and go for, okay, let us take 4 weeks data. And this 4 weeks data, now this 4 weeks data, let us see what happens. And here just at the click of button, now you have daily data of 4 weeks. Kindly move up. Yes. After 5th February, you will find that 8th February is there straight away. 6th and 7th are missing. That means they are the days where there was no trading. That means Saturday and Sunday. So that way, whenever you need the data to calculate volume weighted average, or you need to calculate for in case of frequently traded shares, you can. Kindly download the CSV file to view all records. So this is your CSV file. That way you get the authentic data. And whenever you have downloaded the data, suggestion is that also mention the link. Link is there, Akashi, at the top. And whenever you are downloading the data, then mention the link, because tomorrow if matter goes to litigation, then at least link you shall provide so that it talks about authenticity. The link gives authenticity to the data that you have taken it from the authentic source. Now, Akashi, you can just for demo of few minutes, you can go to the NSE India also, and let us see from NSE portal how one can get the data. Historical data of the, because in case of frequently traded company, one has to go for the data before the cutoff date. And here also kindly, no, don't go for market data, go for this search by company name. Yes. Akash in Surat, so then he loves this Adani group. Yes. And now here, Adani Port, you will find here that this is, kindly move it up. And here the price 764 something. And then after this price and this purple box, you will find it is mentioned pre-open market, intraday chart, corporate information and historical data. So then Akashji, click on this historical data. And this historical data, now this is the date is mentioned, whatever data you require from and to. Mention those dates. Remember cutoff date, which will be provided by the management of the company. and you have to calculate 6 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever is required, or 6 months data, depending upon the cutoff date, and you can place the dates here and the data will happen. Now see, Akashji has placed 1st February to 1st March. Now let us see what happens. Yes, move up this page kindly. Akashji, move this page up so that we can see whether data has been provided by NSE India or not. Yes. अभी आपने क्लिक नहीं किया, इसका मतलब नहीं, देखो यहाँ तो हो गया, बट अभी आपने इसको एंटर कहाँ किया? ये जब आप फोटोज को मूव करोगे ना, तब ये देखो यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ आएगा डाउनलोड। यहाँ डाउनलोड लिखा हुआ आ रहा है। जब आप डाउनलोड वाले को क्लिक करोगे, देन यू विल गेट दिस डाटा। क्लिक दिस डाउनलोड। So here is how you got this data. Now see, the latest date is mentioned first. 1st March, then 26th February, means 27th and 28th were off, 25th, 24th, 23rd, 22, and then 2 days off, then 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, and then 2 days off, and like this you can get the data. But always remember, whenever you are taking the data, kindly go for the link, copy paste the link in your data, so that in case of litigation, the authenticity of data will come to your help. Akashji, now you can close this window and you can move back to the PPT again. So here, friends, just for the who are younger in the profession, may not be age-wise, but who are younger in the profession and who have not yet to get the first opportunity for listed entity valuation. So here is one of things. First, learning that art of retrieving old public data from stock exchange. In BSE India, go for that particular script. After that script, go remember that you need to find out the archives. Archives is a word which is for the past data, historical data, and archives is the word which is used in case of BSE India, and historical data is which is used in reference to the NSE India. And now this volume weighted average price. Volume weighted average price, for this to understand what is this volume weighted average price, one has to read the regulations of the SEBI. And when you will read the regulation of the SEBI, this is mentioned in the definition. This volume weighted average price is mentioned in the definition, and just go for that definition carefully so that you can understand what is volume weighted average price. Because at lot many places you need to calculate this volume weighted average price on the basis of the daily data, which just now Akashji showed you how to find this data. And then this one need to remember that volume weighted average price and volume weighted average market price, these two are different. Then one needs to remember that change in cutoff date will change the valuation also in case of frequently traded shares. Then concept of highest price paid. This concept of highest price paid is mentioned in the definition portion. Whenever any call happens, then prior to that there is understanding, there is an agreement between management. Management means the promoters and the new entrant, which is entering into the shoe of the promoter, and there is a condition that whosoever is entering into the shoe of the promoter, they have to go for acquiring the shares from public to the extent of 25%. We did one session on JB Chemicals, Akashji, if you remember. In JB Chemical, we saw that new management entered and earlier management exited. And at that time, if you remember, Akashji, the price of the JB Chemical was somewhere around 800 something. And do you want to know today's price? This is 1,450 approximately.
Okay.
So JB Chemical in 3-4 months has moved from 800 to 1400,
Mm-hmm.
because now this is multinational company where promoter stake is held by one of the PE company, PE KKR. If you remember,
Yes, yes.
that KKR does not mean Calcutta Knight Rider, but this is one of the big private equity firm, PE investor venture fund, which has acquired the majority stake in this JB Chemical. And same group has acquired the stake in Max Healthcare also. And then this weighted average number of total shares. See, this weighted average number of total share is entirely different from weighted average price. Weighted average number of total share depends on the opening number of shares. Means opening means, suppose 6 weeks data you are taking, then on first day of the first week, what is the number of shares? And number of shares might have changed in those 6 weeks, in 6 months. Company might have gone for ESOP issuance, company might have gone for right issue, company might have gone for FII or whatever. And because of that corporate action, maybe that total number of shares may be different on day one and may be different on day end. Then what to do? What to do means, whenever you are going to calculate volume weighted average market price, then you must know the weighted average number of total shares also. Only then you can calculate the volume weighted average price. So this is the time when the valuers who are younger in the profession have to learn through the definitions which are mentioned in SEBI loader regulation and other regulations of all these points which are mentioned here, concept of highest price paid. Because in case of first time, in case of
Sorry.
Vedanta, we saw this concept of premium for acquiring the majority stake. And there was litigation at that time that if premium has been paid for acquiring majority stake, then the price which is being offered to the public shareholders cannot be less than the price which has been issued to the management. And litigation was at that time for the purpose that this premium has been paid to acquire the majority stake, because the acquirer has already acquired majority stake. Therefore, these additional shares are not going to change the situation. Therefore, this premium is not payable to the public shareholder. But court stood at its point and said that nothing doing, whatever has been paid to the management shall be paid to the public shareholders also. And after that, this regulation was amended and the concept of highest price paid was introduced in the regulation itself to remove the ambiguity, to remove the gray area which was there.
Okay.
Yes, Akashi, kindly move for the next.
Yeah. So at AIRVA and other institutions, here is the opportunity to increase our scope for as a registered valuer to issue the report. One is under Income Tax Act, FEMA, and full-time employment. You may be aware that in Valuations Bill 2020, in addition to this Companies Act and IBC, there are 15 acts which are mentioned there, where we will, over a period of time, the government will permit. And that list of 15 includes this income tax and FEMA. Another point, avenue is this full-time employment side of registered valuer profession. As on date, you know, registered valuer means he can be in the practice only, he cannot be in the full-time employment. There are certain situations like REIT and mutual fund where they need this valuation on annual basis and half yearly basis. So as on date, they need services of the person who is registered valuer within the meaning of section 247 of the Companies Act. So he cannot be in the employment. If we just compare this with CA, when a person qualifies, then either he has the option of full-time employment or in the profession. So similar provision as on date does not exist for the registered valuer, but yes, in the time to come, we can convince the relevant authorities to make such provision. So a registered valuer may have a choice either to go for the employment or registered valuer. Ajay ji, you can add something here.
Yes, I am just finding out Vijay Gupta ji is here. Vijay Gupta ji, he is the head of one of the RVO. He is here. Vijay ji, kindly unmute yourself. If you are still here, kindly unmute yourself. Start your video also. Vijay Gupta ji. See, if he is not here, kindly talk about this, that this CBDT, this RBI, this full-time employment side of the registered valuer profession. The all RBOs have to take this issue with the higher authority. We have to take this issue with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs also, because there are not many opportunities. We have seen people who are in full-time empanelment and they are serving the single client. Means there are opportunities for full-time employment of the registered valuer profession, but this profession as on date is lopsided profession, because it provides only one side of the profession to emerge, and that is practicing side of the profession. Employment side of the profession is total miss, has been given total bye-bye without exploring the opportunities, but opportunities are there as told by Anil sir, that not only with the mutual fund, not only with the REIT, not only with the infrastructure investment trust, this has been seen that credit rating agencies are also engaging the registered valuers, and they are called empaneled and they are paid the professional fees, but on monthly basis, they are retainer with them. This is happening with the credit rating agencies. This is happening with the big valuation firms. This is happening in case of even pension funds, PFRDA, pension funds which are working in India, they are also engaged because they have to disclose the valuation at regular basis. This has happened in case of many other institutions where services of valuer are required on regular basis. And we have to see, we are pressing upon from ERWA, we are writing to them at regular interval. And if RVOs headed by young professionals like Vijay Gupta ji, they will also press upon, then this will become easy to get these recognitions. Yes, Akash ji, kindly move to the next one.
So another avenue available for we professionals, that as on date, some of the SEBI regulations talk about this registered valuer, but still there are number of regulations like SEBI share-based employee benefit regulations 2014, SEBI buyback of securities regulations 2018.
Sir, Kedar ji, Anil sir, एक मिनट आपको मैं रोक देता हूँ, because Kedar Chikodi ji is also here. He is director in one of the RVO. Kedar sir, kindly unmute yourself. Kindly switch on your video.
Yeah, please.
Kedar ji, are you here? Okay, sir, continue till Kedar ji or Vijay ji join.
Okay. So another regulations, SEBI substantial acquisition of shares and takeover regulations 2011, SEBI delisting of equity shares regulation 2009. So all these regulations require valuations directly or indirectly. Yeah, previous slide, please.
Yes.
So yeah, so we may impress upon SEBI to include this concept of registered valuer and issuance of the report by them, as they have done in some of the earlier regulations. So though these regulations are 14, 18, 11, 9, but no changes have been done. But yes, we should make an effort to include this concept under these regulations as a registered valuer and issuance of the report.
Yes, we will be doing it from the side of ERWA. There are many stalwarts who have joined today's session. One of them is Mr. Pramod Jain from Pune. Pramod ji, if you are still online, kindly unmute yourself. Yes, author. And he is author of some fantastic books, and he is now at the later second inning of his life. He is now going for things like teaching, and he basically spreading the financial knowledge. His mission is to spread the financial knowledge. And Pramodji, we have identified some of the SEBI regulations where there is a scope for the registered valuer. From AIRVA, we will be taking up these issues with the SEBI in times to come. That means May onward, and you may impress upon PVAI and some other RVOs also to simultaneously make efforts for this. Your comments, Pramod sir. And Vijayji has also come now, and I will ask Vijayji also to unmute and to, yes, Pramod sir, over to you.
Yeah, first of all, good evening to all of you. And Ajayji, I would like to, at the outset, convey my heartfelt compliments and congratulations for tremendous work that you and your team is doing for promoting the valuation as a profession. All your sessions are extremely enriching, and they always add a tremendous value, and I am always looking forward to attending to them. I really have no words to express the wonderful job that you are doing. Keep it up. Any support, any help that you need from our side, we are always available. Thank you so much, Ajayji. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. And in the meantime, Anil sir, there is a question from Vijay Kumar Gupta. This is different Vijay Kumar Gupta. He's friend of mine, and he was Central Council member of ICI. He has raised one of the questions. Anil sir, kindly continue, and just I'm there. Yes. Okay. See, sir, Vijay Gupta ji has asked a question. Please throw some light how young professional get the benefit in this field. So see, Vijay ji, you are very seasoned professional. You know that this registered valuer degree is always the second professional degree for anyone, at least second. This cannot be the first degree because this is dependent upon the experience. And while we talk about young professional, we talk about the professionals who have recently entered into the profession of the valuation. And I expect that soon you will also join this profession, because this profession will get enriched with the joining of the seasoned professionals like you.
Thank you.
Oji. Yes, Vijay ji.
सर, मैंने आपसे पूछने का मतलब ये था यंग चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स के लिए कि वो किस तरह से हाउ दे कैन गेट द बेनिफिट, आइदर दिस इज बीइंग forming the association with a senior chartered accountant like Ajay Garg ji, or having some assignment, or assisting some these professionals who are doing this great job in this field. So I'm just asking this question.
Yes, Pramod Jain ji, you are the most fit person to reply this question, because you have chosen to spread the financial knowledge. And here the question of Vijay ji is that how young chartered accountants can assist the established registered valuers. This is the question, if I have rightly understood, of Vijay Gupta. Yes.
Yes, Vijayji, I think this is really a very relevant and pertinent question, and it shows your concern for the young chartered accountants, young professionals, I would say, not only chartered accountant. Today is the world when everyone has to go for a specialization. Today, to be a general practitioner is really a big challenge. So my recommendation, my suggestion will be that young chartered accountants or cost accountants or company secretaries or MBAs who wish to make their career in the field of valuation, number one, they need to really strengthen their fundamentals and basics really very strong. Because this is an area, in my view, and I'm sure Ajayji would agree with me,
yes,
this is an area, this is a field which has got tremendous potential, tremendous meaning absolutely tremendous potential. And therefore, one is strengthen your fundamentals, be absolutely strong about the basics of valuation. So the moment somebody asks you a question about valuation, the moment somebody talks about a query on valuation, you should be able to immediately give an answer. That is number one. And number two, of course, like any other profession, is always good to join hands with someone who is already in practice. And if you are lucky and join a person like Ajay ji, then of course there is nothing like that. So strengthen your fundamentals. Join someone who is already in the profession and practicing. Be determined to make your career in this line. Give your best, and I am sure you will make a fantastic career not only for yourself, but you would also be able to make a mark on the mark on the economy of the country. This is how, because valuation, through the valuation, what we all are doing through the valuation, we are helping the corporates across the country, not only across the country, across the globe. Through the process of valuation, we are helping them in taking right corporate decisions. So if we do the evaluation, they take a right corporate decision, the economy benefits. And that is how the valuers are able to make their impact and impression on the economy of the country. And that's where the youngsters will always have an upper hand and advantage, which they should try and definitely tap it actually. So this is my view, Ajay ji.
Yeah, Pramod ji, I am inviting Navraj Nehra also. He is director of one of the RVO. And in the meantime, Pramod ji, I want to share that very recently Vijay ji has completed his LLB also. See the passion of learning, and this passion of learning continues with the Vijay ji.
Absolutely.
Navraj Nehra ji, if you are online, kindly unmute yourself, kindly switch on your video. We want your comments about the next targets with the SEBI and next targets with the CBDT as well as with the FEMA.
Sir, first of all, good evening to everyone. Thank you very much, Ajay sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
really so grateful to you are doing a very transformative job without any selfishness, giving a lot of knowledge, boost up. And I'm happy that you are very cautious about the ethic and the limitation of the valuers. Really, it is a need for the youngsters and new entrant, because we have a lot of challenge, lot of responsibility, accountability. Just is not a job then somebody can do and forget about it, sir. And really, you are spreading a knowledge at every level. Actually, I'm not a FSA valuer. I am only valuer plant the machinery, but attending your lecture, at least I learn how to read a balance sheet.
See, sir, Navraj sir, as far as plant and machinery is concerned, now, this heavy infrastructure investment trust regulation is for you.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you, sir. I'm learning at least so many things, and in the at least mostly basic to how to read a balance sheet, at least.
and you know the fee structure which is happening for InvIT valuation.
Yes, sir. I know the share value, how to, what is the investor, what is the value, how are the.
Sir, I'm
learning a lot of things, sir. Really silently, I'm attending your all the webinars, and thank you very much, sir. I don't have any word to say for you. Really, lot of respect, and God bless you. I'm really congratulating from the bottom of my heart. Continue, sir. We are always with you. If need anything, please, sir, you are welcome. We are before you, sir.
Sir, we want that your RVO shall also press upon about insertion of registered valuer in these regulations which are mentioned on this slide. Share-based employee benefits, buyback of securities, substantial acquisition of shares and takeover, and delisting of equity shares. Because valuation is invariably required in all these four. But presently, these valuations are being done by the not systematically groomed professionals. So there is need to press upon, because this will be in benefit of corporate, this will be in benefit of the regulator, this will be in benefit of the public at large who is investor, so that they shall not lose their money. And here is Mr. Kedar Chikodi also. He is also director in one of the RVO. If he is here, Kedar sir, kindly unmute yourself and switch on your video. Mr. Kedar, perhaps he is not there. Kedarji. Okay, fine.
Hello.
Yes, Kedarji, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, this
Very
this
busy man.
particular, I
Kedar
need
is
your,
very busy man nowadays, sir. He's doing a transition.
yes. Kedarji, I need your attention on this particular slide. And Anil Rustagi ji also wants your comments because we want your intervention also, so that in these regulations of SEBI in 21 or in 22, we will see the amendment and insertion of registered valuer for arriving at the valuations for various purposes in these regulations. Your comments?
Actually,
Yeah, let's try for 2021 and not 2022.
Yes.
Sir, few years back, before this valuers rule came into enforce, before that we had done a lot of work in SEBI as well as MCA to include 3 class of assets instead of the what do you call, the merchant bankers. If you
Yes.
see the investment trust and real estate REITs, in that only merchant bankers were allowed to do the valuation. So we had met SEBI officials as well as MCA people to introduce 3 class of assets. So it is a welcoming move that if 3 class of assets are recognized in SEBI also. Of course, SEBI is under MCA, so they will recognize, and they are recognizing the 3 class of assets. So we will have a lot of work as far as delisting, merger, takeovers, or any. Of course, I always tell, like a Pandit ji, right from नामकरण to his death, then श्राद्ध, जैसे पंडित जी लगते हैं वैसे ही वैल्यूअर कुछ भी वैल्यूएशन डिसीजन लेना है, वेदर यू वांट टू नो योर वर्थ और एनीथिंग, मंदी हो या तेजी हो, वैल्यूएशन तो लगता ही है. एनपीए हो या you want a loan, new loan or restructuring, anything, resolution, restructuring या प्रीपैक कीजिए या सीआरपी बोलिए या लिक्विडेशन बोलिए, वैल्यूएशन तो लगता ही है. So even though in pandemic also, yes, we have got few works, so we can feed our people. So in any regulation, whether it is SEBI or anything, valuer is required.
Yes, here we have Mr. Sanjeev Agarwal also, a seasoned valuer from plant and machinery side. Sanjeev ji, kindly unmute yourself. Mr. Sanjeev Agarwal.
Yes, sir. Very good evening to everybody.
Kindly switch on your video.
I am not in the situation of the opening the video.
Okay. So then,
Audio will do.
Audio will do.
then okay, then voice is fine.
Yes.
And
So definitely that's a good move, and it's otherwise also in any economy there should be like we are talking about one nation, one policy in everything. So even for valuation profession, there should be one regulation, one registration, one empanelment should be there. I am of that opinion. Why everybody has to apply for different empanelment in different banks or any other institutions?
that means
Everybody should follow.
there is one more issue we and you need to take up with the IBA, Indian Bank Association.
Yes. See, I mean, IBA is only for banking purpose.
Yes.
What I mean to say, in any valuation work, be it for income tax, be it for banks, be it for Companies Act, be it for any other purposes, why all the different agencies have different regulations and different empanelments? Why they don't follow a single thing? Once we are registered valuers, I think, and this is an apex body for valuers. So all the institutions should follow their registrations without any further empanelments.
Yes. We have Sanjay Bang from Bombay. Sanjay ji, kindly unmute yourself if you are there.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sir, because you are in Bombay, so then next time when ERWA will be writing to the SEBI now, we will provide a copy to you as well.
Sure, sir.
So that if you are in touch with someone in SEBI or in a stock exchange, you can talk to them and you can take up these issues. And
Sure, sir.
if we will regularly press upon with the regular time interval, things will happen. So
Yes.
then we will be requiring some of your services for this. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Sure. It's my
Yes.
pleasure, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then friends, Akashji, are you there? Akash Agarwalji?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are connected. Yes, Akashji, kindly now we can, because there is no question, kindly find out if there is any question. I didn't find any question over there. And okay, fine. This is next slide. This is
Ajay sir.
powers of SEBI. Yes, Anil sir, Anil Rustagi ji.
Yeah. So,
Sir, your
as-
final comments now.
So as all of us are aware, the SEBI has various powers and we can keep it in three buckets as quasi-judicial power, quasi-executive power, and quasi-legislative. Quasi-judicial means power to give judgment on unethical and fraudulent activities. If something comes to the knowledge of SEBI, then they take appropriate action by issuing the order or judgment. Quasi-executive power to implement regulations and take legal actions against violators. So directly or indirectly through stock exchange or wherever it is possible, they exercise this power. Last is quasi-legislative, framing of rules, regulation that they keep doing very frequently, and amendment, very timely amendment. That is very important, which SEBI is doing to protect interest of the investors. So,
Yes.
Ajay, you would like to add here?
Yes, yes. Akashji, move to the next one. I think we are now at the end. And I would like to invite Mr. S.K. Verma, who was first to join today. S.K. Verma ji, kindly unmute yourself.
Sir, namaskar, sir.
Yes, namaskar. Today's thanks notes by you.
सब बहुत अच्छा रहा सेशन सर. मेरा तो मुझे फर्स्ट टाइम मिला ज्वाइन करने के लिए.
You were the first to join today, yes.
सर, मैं बड़ा उत्सुक था सर ज्वाइन करने के लिए और बहुत ही इंफॉर्मेटिव है और मैं तो चाहता हूँ कि ये इंफॉर्मेशन टाइमली मिलती रहे और अपडेट रहें सब लोग. थैंक यू ऑल सर. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Over to Akashji for the concluding things.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
And
Anil.
this is the concept that you can announce that video is available on YouTube. Yes. Earlier sessions videos are also available on YouTube. If you wish, you can see, you can get the connection from My Valuation Bank. My Valuation Bank is almost free facility where valuation reports are there available in plenty. You can, recently we have uploaded the valuation reports related to Infrastructure Investment Trust. If you remember, in this week only, PGCIL, Power Grid Corporation India Limited, Infrastructure Investment Trust public issue happened. It was oversubscribed around 5 times. And this valuation report is also available in the domain of My Valuation Bank. Any valuer can join there, can attend there, can download the reports, can learn, can do whatever he wants. And all these reports we have taken from the public domain. And brand valuation, one commentary on brand valuation has also been reported, because brand valuation most of the time, some of the youngsters, they feel difficulty. Then one commentary on brand valuation report has also been uploaded this month. Over to Akashji. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Anil ji. Thank you, Ajay Garg ji, for guiding us, for enlightening us in this LODR regulation of SEBI.
Akashji, now we have, मैं आपको रोक रहा हूँ because now we have got hand on some startup valuation reports also. And these startup valuation reports of not only Zomato but of Snapchat and EduTech and other startup valuation reports are now also available on Valuation Bank. So SK Dasji, there is no competition with you. Union Bank is different. We don't do any transaction in money. We share only the valuation report. No competition with you. Akash sir, yes, over to you.
Thank you, sir. It's so wonderful. It's that all these valuation reports are available on My Valuation Bank. I think it's the only handy website we have in India right now where so much of data and content are available and with very ease of time. Thank you again. I thank you all the participants for joining here. Thank you, the speaker, the host, the co-speaker. We'll be having next session after a week, and all the details will be uploaded on the uh, website of My Valuation Bank, on the Facebook page, and also via various WhatsApp groups. Thank you, everyone. Be safe. Take care.
Yeah. Once again, I'm thankful to Dr. Ajay Gar for providing me an opportunity to interact with my professional colleagues and for the patient hearing by the participant. Thank you.
Sir, we are thankful to you. You are having so much enriching experience of multinational companies and listed companies, and it's salute. You have taken out so much time to do the research, and you put lot of efforts for this presentation, also going for minute to minute checking. And this was amazing work which we have done. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the
And
comments. Yeah. Thank you.
bye bye till we meet again.
Sure.
As Akashji told, be safe. Thank you. Thank you very much, Siddharth Mukhopadhyay ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay ji and team, for a wonderful lecture.
Thank you, sir.